first kiss?
Go on.
There you go.
Would you like to seal it with a kiss? You can kiss me on the cheek.
I really am conflicted about this season. This season is going to be hard work to watch. It really is, because it doesn't seem there's any couple thus far that's going to be successful. And I'm pleasantly surprised. At least we got to see a different side of Alicia, sort of in her role as a nurse. I loved that. I love that little cutesy scene between the two of them. And then, oh my God, these two grooms. What do I think? Sadly for Beck, she got too excited. She liked the guy she was matched with, got too excited, moved too fast, and then something must have put him off. I have a feeling either she's had work done after losing so much weight, or something put him off when they were being intimate, and this is why he suddenly said we don't have a spark, because initially he didn't say that. And then Brooke and Chris. About time a husband was humbled on Married at First Sight. It's about time. We need women in men's field. Good on Brooke for humbling this man, because he thought he was the bee's knees. And so the idea that his partner is not finding him as attractive as he expected it to find him is something that he wasn't prepared for. And I am here for it. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by, to girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 13, Episode 3. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to catch up. I will shortly. Anyway, we have the married couples, so we have them sort of find out where they're going on their honeymoons. You have Gia and Scott. They are very happy. They're very giddy. They're saying they haven't been intimate. Okay. Apparently they're going to Townsville, so good for them. I love it for them. As long as they're happy, we are happy for them. And then poor farmer, look. He and Mel went to South Australia. Mel slept in a separate bedroom from her husband and was expecting to go somewhere sunny. It makes me feel like she only got married so that she could go on holiday. I don't know whether she couldn't afford a holiday for herself. So they got to go to South Australia. She wasn't impressed. She really wasn't impressed. I think she expected herself to be going somewhere maybe like, Maldives or Fiji. And sadly, she drew the short straw. Alicia and David seemed to be in a very good space. They were on their honeymoon because they went to what's Mount Buller, and they were really excited because it's there's a lot of ice. They were playing in the snow. They really seem physically fit, and they seem attracted to the person that they're matched with. So I love it for them. Good for them. Rachel and Stephen arrived on their honeymoon, to Mudgee. And sadly, Stephen, it seems like he's got an upset stomach, and they are in this room where there's no door to the toilet, so he has to use a curtain. He was a bit shaken by that and wasn't sure how that was going to play out for them. And I love it. If someone is happy, good for them. Then we get to meet with the couples to come up. So we first meet Becca. We met Becca at the hen do. So Becca is 35. She's an account manager. She was with her family, and then she sort of said, Dad, can you walk me down the aisle? I'm going to get married at First Sight. Because initially the family was surprised that she's getting married and couldn't understand who she was getting married to because they hadn't met her partner. Anyway, the family seemed to jump on board. They were skeptical. You could see from their faces that they were not on board, but I think they decided not to say anything that was inappropriate. She said she was been engaged before, but she broke up the engagement because she realized that things would never have worked out long term. There was the likelihood that she would have broken up with that person, so she decided to cut and run. And so she's, lost 20 kgs, she said before. She's worked on her mind, body, and health, and wants someone with a very good sense of humor because she loves a good laugh. It's like, oh, good for her. She is paired with Danny. We meet Danny. Danny is 34. He's a real estate, and he says he's a real estate broker or something like that, and businessman. He's from London, and he was very cheeky as a child, but he says now he's matured and grown into himself. He said his parents have been married for 42 years. So we got to see him sort of break the news to his mom and dad via video call that, he's getting married. They are married at first sight. I think he had prepared his parents by telling them that he might be entering the experiment, and it seems Lucy's mom had been pushing him to get married, so he had no choice but to sort of go ahead with that. He said he's looking for someone with a very good sense of humor. The experts are excited because they think they are aligned on a lot of things. And it's like, yes, people might be aligned, but it's the spark that matters. Some people, as soon as there's no spark, they're out the window. So hopefully this doesn't sort of backfire. You have, Danny have his mates come down for his wedding. To me, I'm questioning, did production meet the friend and then they said, do you have any friends that are single? Because it doesn't make sense. His best man will apparently, is a Channing Tatum sort of imitator, impersonator. He works as a stripper and he does a lot of hen do's and bachelorette parties. And you're saying, this is not about me, this is about my friend. And it's like, oh, okay. When they got to the venue for the wedding, you had, the wife's friends, Becca's friends, say, I know him. He's a stripper. I've seen him. He's a stripper. And it's like, oh my God, why put him right in front? I feel like production did that intentionally, because they knew that somebody would know him. Maybe he's very well known for his role. Anyway, you have Danny come out. He's happy. He's, excited. You have on her part Beck come out. She came out and then was walked down the aisle by her dad. And so first impression, they seemed to really like one another. But then when Beck turned around, she then said, "Oh, to the friend, to Will, oh, you look like Channing Tatum impersonator." Turns out he was the one. He confirmed he was the one. And for Beck to talk about her friend, "Oh, you slept with my friend and you didn't make her come and stuff," that wasn't necessary, especially on your wedding day. This is not about your friend. These are things you shouldn't be saying. That was bad taste, in my opinion. That was very poor sort of execution, in my opinion, because I feel like this is a conversation she could have had with him afterwards. And I think seeing that, she started sort of second guessing her husband. The vows were really sweet. You had, Danny say he wants a Bonnie and Clyde relationship. He wants a partner who's going to bail him out of prison. And she took it literally for that, because she suddenly turned around and, things changed. Oh, I'm not going to bail him out of prison. He's going to be spending the weekend, chasing his friends in strip clubs and stuff. And it's like, he's saying he wants a relationship like Bonnie and Clyde. He's not saying he's always in prison. So I don't get it, and I didn't quite understand it. And I'm surprised that she still went along with the vows, even though in a confessional she was moaning bitterly and begrudgingly about the fact that, oh, how dare he ask me to come and bail him out. I'm not bailing him out just because, this is what he wants to do. I really want someone who wants to get married. And it's like, maybe go back to the apps, love. Maybe go back to the apps and see what you get. And then, personally, I'm side eyeing experts. I really am side eyeing them, because why did they feel like it was a genius idea to cast Chris? Why would they do that? Did they think Elliot was such a hit last season? So this season they're going to cast someone who's even worse than that. I didn't like it. So we met Chris. He's 31. He's a construction supervisor. He said, he's dated a lot on the apps. It hasn't worked out. So he's decided to come and see if the experts. And then he puts quotation marks to see if the experts will help him with anything. And it's like, why? If you know that they're not good at what they do, why are you coming? Are you just coming for clout or what? I didn't like that. He spoke to his friends, told them that he was getting married on Married at First Sight, and it's like, we don't care. We really don't care. I wish they would just cut him out. I'm surprised that he's going to continue in this experiment. He said he's very skeptical and he's looking for a relation. He's looking for a relationship or something. And personally, I don't think he's looking for a relationship. I think he thought the only way he was going to be cast was if he was sarcastic, and this is why he did that. He said he's not looking for a supermodel. He just wants someone to have a healthy relationship, just like his parents. And it's like, okay, good for you. He is matched with Brooke. Brooke is 27. She's a model. And so we get to see her doing a photo shoot. She has been cheated on. It seems like 80-95% of the relationships that she's in. And it's like, why are people constantly cheating on you? Is it because you're always away, or is it because there's something lacking, there's no connection in the relationship? Make it make sense. Being cheated on once, okay. Twice, it continues as 80%, then the problem now becomes you, because you are the person in common with everybody else who's cheating on you. And she says, she wants someone who's ready to settle down, because she wants to start a family and sort of, settle down soon. And it's like, I think she's a stunning girl. I really think she's a stunning girl. But do I think the man she's been paired with is the right man for her? I am side-eyeing that. I don't think Chris is it. I really don't think Chris is it. So I was pleasantly surprised because Chris was asked. He kept making these comments about the fact that he was good looking, so he was hoping that he would like the woman he was matched with, and he was told, "What if the woman that you're matched with thinks you're not attractive?" And he sort of, "Well, look at me," and it's like, "Buddy, you're going to be humbled." The fact that he was asked about his height and he felt the need to sort of measure himself to confirm that he's definitely 6 foot. It's like, boy, your ego is about to be bruised. We get to wedding day. His mom is happy that he's getting married. Dad is just there. Yes, Hyacinth, just to agree with whatever she was, to say. And so when the guests came out and sat out, it started raining, and he wasn't impressed. Chris wasn't impressed by the rain. He then started moaning begrudgingly, "Oh, why are we getting married in the rain?" And it's like, buddy, you can hire a hall for yourself or go to a church, book a church for yourself. You don't need to be, so negative. Brooke came out and she sort of sussed him out to see if he was higher, if he was taller than her or not. You had, poor Chris trying to stand up straight to make sure that he appeared taller, and it's like, I love it. I love that she's already showing his insecurities because he thought he was the man, and now he's realizing that actually he's not it. Anyway, they said their vows, his vows. Chris, I think I didn't, I not that I think, I know I didn't like the bit about the experts only having 0.0000 something percent success. Doesn't make sense. If the success rate is that low, why are we here? Why not stay at home? So they said that after their vows, they were asked to kiss. You had, Brooke sort of leaning for a hug. The officiant asked, "Do you want to kiss?" She then gave him a cheek. The friend wasn't happy. He was more upset than Chris, and it's like, why is Chris's friend upset? Why is he upset that Brooke didn't allow this man to kiss her? She doesn't know him, so why should she allow him to kiss her when she doesn't want to be kissed? Make that make sense? Something happened during the photo shoot for Beck and Danny because suddenly she opened up and she was more giddy, she was excited, and she was so open to getting to know him. I think because they started having a conversation and having dialogue, she realized that he wasn't as bad as she expected him to be. They went to their reception. She was very excited because at the end of the day, he went and he spoke to her parents, he spoke to her dad, and sort of explained that, I want you to know that I'm always going to treat her very well. I'm never going to be disrespectful. So they eventually sat down, had a conversation, and she apologized to him that, "I'm sorry I misjudged you because you said you wanted me to bail you out of prison." And Danny had to explain to say, "I don't mean literally physically go and bail me. It was just me making a joke out of the Bonnie and Clyde, characters." And so she then eventually understood it. She was happy. He seemed happy and impressed with what was in front of him at that point. So he gave her the crown. I didn't like how she sort of addressed that. Pretend to be interested, pretend to be excited. For her to take the crown and then just leave it on the couch doesn't make sense. And I think things like that are what sort of gave him the ick and put him off. Chris was humbled really, because they did a photo shoot, and during the photo shoot, I think his height was still playing on his mind, and the fact that he kept complaining about the weather. It's like, suck it up, buttercup. Well, why are you making such a big deal over nothing? So they took the pictures. He felt very insecure as far as I'm concerned. Surprisingly, he was complaining about it being cold when he had a jacket on and the long trousers when his wife was wearing a mini with no sleeves. So it didn't make sense. I expected him to do the gentlemanly thing and give her his coat, but he didn't do that. When they got to the reception, they sort of sat down with Chris's parents, and you could see a spark between Chris's mom and Brooke. They were really excited, they were having conversations. And so it was really sweet to see that, they're happy as a couple and they really love the person that they've been matched with. In the morning, you had the newlyweds wake up, and I felt it was very distasteful because this was the second time you heard a wife talk about her husband's package, and it's like, why are we talking about packages? I don't like it. Anyway, with Becca and Danny, they found out that they are going to Fiji. They were really excited, so they were happy that they were going to be going away. That was nice for them. I think it's good because it was nice and warm. They went to Fiji, and it seems on the first night in Fiji they had a good time. Sadly, the good time suddenly was cut short. Something happened. this is my opinion. I feel like they were physically intimate, and during physical intimacy, this man must have seen things that he didn't expect because he met the prepackaged person, he didn't meet the original person, and I think whatever he saw is what put him off, and now he's complaining that there's no spark because it doesn't make sense why suddenly he's complaining that there's no spark. He then went out to swim. I think he was trying to sort of regroup and find a way of sort of delivering whatever he wanted to say in a very well packaged manner. The problem is, Beck had said, there is a lot of physical chemistry, there's a lot of spark here. So I feel sorry for those that they don't have that with their husbands. And only for her to find out that she actually, her husband didn't have the spark. She was broken, she was devastated. And I'm very sorry for her because no one wants to feel rejected. For Chris and Brooke, oh my god, I'm here for it because they woke up, they slept in separate beds. Chris wasn't happy. He really wasn't happy. They found out they're going to Hunter Valley, and so he was feeling some type of way because he didn't expect his wedding to start with him sleeping in a separate bedroom from his wife. And it's like, buddy, you have to suck it up. This is what it is. Mel for me needs to go home. She didn't get the holiday she wanted. She needs to go home because poor Luke is putting up with a lot. He really is putting up with a lot. They got to their hotel. She then complained that there was only one bed, and she really wished that they could have had a separate sleeping arrangements. They tried to do rock paper scissors to see who would sleep on the couch, and it's like, madam, it's not that deep. If you don't want to get married, if you don't like this husband, go home. You don't need to wait for a commitment ceremony. Ask Elliot from last season. He went home on the honeymoon. You can go home. It's not like you've gone overseas whereby you would struggle to get home. You can go home. Gia and Scott, they are excited as well. They were giddy. They were working out. They're the ones that they said had a very high sex drive, and it seems like they're excited about that, and they can't wait to be physically intimate. They were working out. They seem to be enjoying their honeymoon. So it's nice that they're sort of aligned on certain things, and I assume on his part, Scott has come to acceptance when it comes to the fact that she has a kid. For Brooke and Chris to go to the winery and whatever that date was, I don't get it. I love the fact that Chris is being humbled. Every time he is around Brooke, he continues to be humbled, and I'm here for it. And I can't wait to see what happens with the two of them. We barely got to see Rachel and Stephen. We barely got. So I assume they're having a great honeymoon until they're not. So I can't wait to see that hot mess. And then Ashley and David, they went into a steam room. David fell and he cut his knee, and so he needed a dressing. I would assume that it looked quite deep, so I think it would have needed some stitches. So I would assume they were going to take him somewhere because you had Ashley immediately, turn into nurse, and she cleaned the wounds, she dressed the wounds, and so they were sitting and waiting. And even David on his part was saying it's nice to see the side of her. I didn't know she had that side, so he really loved the side of her that he got to see. I like that part of her. I hate the influencer side. If she can stick to her nurse side and just focus on being a loving and caring partner, they have a chance of working. So I can't wait to see what happens there. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 2. Bye guys.